Hey, what up, YouTubers? It's Don here. It is now 12:59 in the AM, and I couldn't sleep, so I had to make another video. And the topic of this video is being homeless. I can remember when I was homeless, man. That experience was a motherfucking experience. Let's just put it that way. And I was homeless like two times in my life. You know what I'm saying? The first time I was homeless, I was going through a situation. It didn't work out, so I ended up in a shelter. And when I let's talk before I'm gonna talk about before I made it to that actual shelter though. Before I made it to that shelter, I can remember sleeping on stairs for like 2 nights. And from them 2 nights, I was like, damn, I can't see how a motherfucker that's homeless that choose to sleep outside. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they do it. But when you homeless, it's like there's two type of homelessness. There's a motherfucker that's homeless and that want to do for himself, like get himself into a shelter, follow rules, and do what he need to do to overcome that shit. And then you got the other type of homeless person who is homeless, who suffers from some type of addiction, whether it be any type of addiction, and who gives up on life. That's the second type of homeless person. That's the people that you see that choose to sleep outside. They don't want to follow rules. You know what I'm saying? They just gave up on life, period. So, you know, when I was going through that whole homeless situation, the first thing I cared about was like, damn, I had to get myself into a shelter, and then once I get a roof over my head, then I can maneuver a lot better, you know. Then I figure out what step two is. So, you know, I'm going through the process. I spent 2 nights sleeping on stairs. So, you know, I had a bus pass, and I took the bus pass all the way to Lauderdale, and we had to go wait under this tree called the tree, and they would actually come and assign people to shelters. So the way it works when you homeless is like you do overnighters, and what overnighters are is basically when they assign you to like different shelters until you get into a main shelter. I spent a week doing that shit, and after that week, I got assigned into what's called the Hack on Sunrise. Now, out of all the shelters, believe it or not, that's the best one you want to try to get into right there, the Hack, because that was like the motherfucking MVP of shelters right there. You know what I'm saying? They had so much programs there. You know what I'm saying? They had like you went to school for free. I mean, they if you had a family, if you had a family and you was homeless, I mean, of course, the families got more support because it was a family situation and they needed the most help. So I mean, that program there will really look out for you, man, and it comes with a lot of perks. And all you had to do was just follow their little rules, man. But then again, you had some motherfuckers that was knuckleheads. The motherfuckers didn't even want to follow them people's rules and end up getting kicked out. You had a lot of bitches falling in love in the hacking shit. We used to call that bitch the hack love. You know, it was just a motherfucking experience. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't tell y'all about that. You know what I'm saying? That was a part of my life. And it was just something that I had to, speak about, you know, tell that experience and what happened in the course of my life. and what caused me to be homeless. It's like when you homeless, it's like they don't give a fuck in a sense. Cause some people be like, why the fuck you let yourself get this low? Shit happens, man. You go through shit in life. Not everything in life is peachy clean, you know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of nigga, I got pride, bruh. So it's like when I was going through that homeless shit, my family didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know because I wasn't going to run to them. My mother always told me if you got yourself into a situation, you got to pray and get yourself out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what I did. You know what I'm saying? With God's help, He saw me. He saw me through both of the times in my life when I was homeless. You know, and God willing, if I had to go back there, I go back there with no shame. Shit happens, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the way you pick yourself back up. And then, another thing that I noticed with people too, when you homeless, man, it's like they treat you a different way. You know what I'm saying? They treat you a different way. And it's not necessarily a positive, it's not necessarily a positive thing. They look at it like that. Oh, don't touch him. He got some kind of disease or some shit like that. Why are you talking to that homeless man? It's like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they treat you so negatively when you're homeless. And I'm like, but that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? You don't know why that person became homeless. You don't know why that person decided to just give up on life. Because believe it or not, a lot of the motherfuckers that I met in the shelter, believe it or not, was educated people. Like myself. People, I met doctors in that. I met doctors in the shelter. I met fucking nurses in the shelter. I met a lot of educated people in the shelter. And the reason why they ended up there is because life happened, situations in life happen. It got too much and they just gave up on that shit. Some lost kids, some were in there due to an addiction, some were in there because of family issues. It's a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is it's like, homeless people are people too. Before you be so quick to judge, take time to talk to a homeless person. You know what I'm saying? And let them tell you, you know, what happened and how they became homeless before y'all judge, criticize, and do what y'all do when y'all interacting with homeless people, man. You know, it is what it is. Everybody got a story. Mine's is like a book, man. Straight up, because I done been through all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, my story is like a book, you know. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying? When you see a homeless person in the street, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, do what you can to try to help the person. Don't be so quick to judge because you don't know what that person going through. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a good talk, a good prayer can help that person along the way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that homeless shit, man. If I was a millionaire, I'd be trying to rectify that shit. But I'm not there yet. So there ain't nothing I can do but pray right now. Me being someone that was homeless, I know exactly what they going through. You know, and then, all they need is prayer, somebody that cares. And somebody when I say somebody that cares, I mean somebody that cares. You know, somebody that's not into, somebody that's just not into it to make a buck and shit like that. Because Believe it or not, like I said, when you homeless, it's a whole different ball game, whole different world. And I just pray that none of y'all, come to that, being homeless and stuff like that. You know. And with that being said, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for coming to my channel. Um, Thank you for, viewing the content on the channel. Y'all know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow this channel. So, I'm trying to get to 1 million subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So, what I need y'all to do is subscribe, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It's Ron Don. Fuck with a Zoe. I'm out. Thank you. Good night.